Hello, it's Andy Graham with the Ask Andy Show. I've traveled non-stop for 16 plus years and went to 90 countries. Bob the Squid, Ann Arbor, Michigan, ask. Hello, hey Andy. When coming to the USA in Orland, like you do, because I have a, in a way it's my base. I stop in and say hi to my mom and my father my father died, so I'm staying a little longer now because my father died. So I think for the next couple of years I'll probably stay in longer time, but like maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. When coming home to the USA in Orland, Indiana, Midwestern boy from a small farm community, 400 people, we got nature everywhere, guys. Do you think that you see home differently because of your traveling exposure and exposure to other cultures? Do you think you see home differently because of your traveling and exposure to other cultures? 100%. And the older I get, the longer I travel, the more I appreciate the USA. It's nothing better to think that I could actually sit here, put this camera up on this table and not worry about somebody running by and stealing it. I like to know that I can have clean sheets all the time. I like to know that I can drink the water out of the tap. I like to know that there's almost no crime in Orland, Indiana. I like to know that I can buy anything and everything in the grocery store, and I never have to be thinking of it. I like to know that the cost of food is cheaper here than in most of the countries where I go. That's not to say that the markets can be cheap. The actual canned food and restaurant food can be actually more because they import it all. Everything's different. I'm grateful to the USA for giving me the passport, the quality of life, and the ability to earn money to travel. What I do see now, one of the things that you don't notice in America, but there's commercials, there's news things, they all just go slow and they just change and they change and they change and they change, and you don't notice it. But for me, like I was just noticing on this trip home, that every single commercial on the TV is about medicine. They've got this medicine that they say if you got COPD that you can get this medicine. And I don't remember this 16 years ago when I started traveling. I don't remember that every single commercial was about selling medicine. And what they're trying to do is get you to walk into your doctor and high pressure him until he gives you this medicine, right? Which to me is not right. A doctor shouldn't have to be taking pressure from his thing. He should be the expert, and he should be prescribing the medicine that he thinks is best. Okay, not because a commercial on TV. But what happens is when you leave the United States, you come back, there's this sudden onslaught of things that are different, that have changed. And it really, your eyes are open, and it's like you suddenly realize that all your friends are always talking about certain things. There's certain topics, like right now, organic. Everything's organic. And 5 years ago it wasn't organic. I remember the first time I learned about Viagra. It was hilarious. I was sitting I went to this little meet you at 5 thing at the Chamber of Commerce in Fort Wayne, and some girl made a joke about Viagra, and I go, I don't get it. She goes, how long you been outside the United States? I said, 1.5 years. She goes, I said, Viagra is something guys take. And I said, so they got a problem? And she goes, no, they're taking it for fun. And I go, oh, I never thought about that. They take this stuff for fun. But I miss everything because I don't see the commercials. A lot of the time, I really would like the commercials on TV because you're bombarded with these educational things like on iPad. I don't know anything about Mac and iPads and all this stuff because I'm not bombarded by the commercials. And it's educational, and it's sort of part of the American culture on what we buy. Culture is a lot what we buy and what we use. It's not just, music. Culture is the whole sum total of how we live. It's a very good question, and how do you think? And I think that if you traveled outside the United States, especially once you get beyond about 5 years living outside the United States, when you return back, you start to appreciate the wonderful things of it. The fact that you can actually ask a policeman for questions and they will answer them. And I know right now this Ferguson thing's on the thing, but this is sort of bullshit. In the other countries, they would just whack you. They just shoot you. Boom. I would never ever throw something at a policeman in any country ever go. They would just open up the machine guns and blow you away. In the United States, we have due process and law, and the idea that we're allowed to protest. I mean, you don't understand it. In other countries, you're not allowed to protest halfway. I mean, they have protests in Peru. I always think they burn things in the street, and everything shuts down, and the police just like look the other way for a day, then they close everything up. And but it can be very dangerous to do. I mean, I would never even think about, you know, throwing something at a policeman in the United States or outside the United States. Outside the United States, I think they could shoot you right on the spot. You don't even consider it because you know that it's so dangerous that you don't even consider it. And this is what they don't realize, is that the freedom we have in America sometimes is because you don't understand that freedom, like protesting, it's not a right in every country. It's just the United States. So you start to get the reality of life and you compare it. I had somebody on Facebook that was sitting there saying that the American military wasn't supplied. And I went to Iraq, and the American military has 10 times more equipment than any military I've ever been to on the planet. I mean, we've got so much outfit. They were acting like the American military didn't have what they needed to do their job. This is just bullshit. Okay? I mean, you go see, I remember going into Dohuk in not Dohuk, in what's the place, Basra, and seeing the British military with their little jeeps, and we had these Hummers, and had these little jeeps. They had just normal clothing, and the Americans had on bulletproof vest, and all these things. It's the contrast, and that's what you get by leaving the United States. So if anything in the world that could ever make your life better, go live outside the United States for 2 months until you got your rose-colored glasses off. Come back to the United States, and then your eyes will be wide open. So open your, you'll suddenly have your eyes wide open. Thank you. Good question, Bob.
We can